Joining us now, Pamela Evette. Pamela is, as you know, Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina. Also, she is she's got a family. She's a Christian conservative, and right now, everybody's telling me she's leading in the polls. Of course, her staff is telling me that. Mace is not, but they're telling me she's leading in the polls. And she had a big announcement, a big presser the other day. Pam, great to have you with us.
John, it's great to be with you. Happy President's Day.
Are they still calling it President's Day, or have they changed that name too?
Well, we are calling it President's Day. You know, I live in South Carolina. We could be calling this Donald Trump Day down here, right? Because he is very popular here in the Palmetto State.
Well, no doubt about it. Maybe we'll get he can be part of President's Day, but they've changed so many names, Indigenous Peoples Day or something. And I don't even know, did they get rid of Columbus Day? I've lost track after they changed the name, the Commanders and the Guardians. I was done with that. Can't stand either of those names. They're still the Cleveland Indians as far as I'm concerned. Now, Pamela, you had a big presser the other day. Tell us about it.
Oh, yes. So Thursday, Governor McMaster endorsed me to be his successor, to be the 118th governor of the great state of South Carolina. It was a great day. John, I think we talked about this last time I was on air. I was the first lieutenant governor ever elected with a governor, and Governor McMaster picked me out of the business world because he didn't want a career politician and he wanted a business person who'd sign the front of paychecks and who would work with businesses to make South Carolina the most business-friendly state in the country. And it was a huge honor to have his support. And, you know, he has a lot of confidence that I'll be able to continue our legacy and continue to bring South Carolina forward. We're already the hottest growing conservative state in the country, so they're big shoes to fill, but I'm ready.
Define hottest growing conservative state.
So, you know, here in South Carolina, U-Haul named us the #1 drop state in the country. More people moving to South Carolina. Our numbers speak for themselves as far as economic development, investment in businesses here in our great state. And, you know, big initiative of mine is to eliminate state income tax, get rid of useless regulations. We are in lockstep with President Trump with the American First agenda, unleashing American technology and American business.
Tell us about why should somebody move to South Carolina instead of Florida? Florida has no income tax. It's a free state. Ron DeSantis done a super job there. So if somebody's looking to getting out of the Northeast, whether it be New York, now Virginia, you can lump in there. Why should they come to South Carolina in lieu of Florida?
Oh my goodness, we are an amazing state, great leadership. You know, we were one of the first states, John, to ban biological males from women's sports. We protect parents' rights at every turn. And I mean, you can have breakfast in the mountains, you can have dinner at the coast. We have amazing weather. We have amazing people. South Carolina is the place to be.
So, in your run for governor, obviously the endorsement of Henry McMaster, Governor McMaster, a big deal because he picked you as his running mate. So this really isn't a shocker. He picked you, obviously, but it is a big deal. And you've both been obviously staunch supporters of President Trump from day one. Tell us about, we talked a little bit about this last time, but your vision for governor, are you going to finally get rid of the income tax, just wipe it out there? Are you going to be able to do that in South Carolina, state income tax?
Absolutely, John. I mean, if they can do it in Florida and Texas and Tennessee, we can do it here. We can leverage technology. We can continue our success with surpluses as we have every year. And we can control spending. And with doing all those things, we can get this done. And it's what the people of South Carolina want. They get very excited when I talk about we can and we will get rid of state income tax. The governor and I, during our time in office, have had the largest tax decreases in our state's history. And I will continue that and get us to zero.
Well, how are you going to do that? How do you make up the revenue, Pam?
Well, John, it's very easy. I'm an accountant by trade. I'm a business person at heart. That's what I've done the majority of my life, growing a business. So we know that efficiency really matters. I can tell you The biggest profit years that I had in my company was when we started to run based on efficiency. And that's what we'll do here in government. There are other states that have actually put pencil to paper and have started this process. They're saving $900 million to $1 billion. We saw what President Trump did when he took a chainsaw to waste, fraud, and abuse, making sure that we use technology to make sure we don't have any of those things. And I would venture to say you're not going to see what you saw at the federal level or what we see happening in Minnesota. But everybody can always run better and leaner when we get rid of useless regulations, when we eliminate our state income tax. Business starts to thrive. More businesses want to come to the state. That will actually impact and make our surpluses greater. And then just like in our own homes, you got to rein in spending. And when you do all those things, you can definitely eliminate the state income tax. Art Laffer was here in South Carolina a few years ago. The governor had him here to start to push this idea that we had to get rid of it. He has great ideas. Actually helped in Tennessee. So we're going to use every tool in the toolbox to make sure that we eliminate state income tax. And then just imagine what our growth will be then, John.
Well, I tell you what, you're certainly on the cutting edge of trying to get rid of this. One of your opponents, Congressman Ralph Norman, is his number one thing is fiscal responsibility, getting rid of the debt. Tell us a little bit about your financial situation in South Carolina, the surplus you have, rainy day fund, and how that ties in, Pam.
We have the largest rainy day fund in South Carolina's history. We'll continue. I was so proud. I just kind of knew on the scene when COVID happened, spending my whole life in the business sector. I'm proud to tell you, John, that South Carolina, we have always run very fiscally conservative. We went into COVID with a surplus. We came out of COVID with a surplus. Not many states can say that. And so we're going to continue that line of thinking. We're going to make sure that spending is on things of necessity, things like infrastructure and our roads. The number one thing that I hear, and my Republican lieutenant governors tell me this from all around the country, roads and bridges, it's the number one thing people want to see us tackle. So really concentrate on the things that will make South Carolina a better place for all of its citizens, and we'll get there.
When are you guys going to finally get that interstate section you've got going through? What is it? Greenville, where Clemson is, where it's been under construction for 50 years. Whenever you go down 85 South trying to get to Atlanta, you basically spend two hours there. Is that ever going to get done in my lifetime, ever?
Well, John, it's going to get done. The governor and I, in our executive budget this year, asked for $1.1 billion to accelerate all these roads projects that people want to see completed. Time is money. And as you can see, the failed Biden administration, they cost everybody money because time is money. And so the governor and I saying in our executive budget, we want to accelerate that spending so that we can get it done and actually save money overall. So we're working on it hard, John, to get everything done.
Tell me about your race right now. Very competitive. Got a lot of pretty high-powered candidates in there. Mason Norman being two of them, both members of Congress. Congress not in very high standing right now. Does that help you in your campaign just by virtue of what they're doing now, and the image of Congress is just tanked? It's like 6 or 7% approval rating.
John, what helps me is that I'm a business person and I'm not a career politician. And I took a business from an office in my home and grew it into a national company. And that's what people want to see. They love what they've seen with President Trump and his administration, bringing the best and brightest from the private sector in to solve very complex problems. And that's what the people of South Carolina want to see. Every time you talk about, I'm not a career politician, I'm a political outsider. And that's the reason the governor picked me. That's the reason the people of South Carolina will pick me, because they've seen the amazing success it's had with President Trump.
Although you're not in Washington and you're not in Congress, one of your senators, Lindsey Graham, who's expected to re-election big, has been an obstacle to getting rid of the filibuster, this phony 60 vote cloture rule. And I know you're not directly involved in this, obviously, but you've got sway. So a lot of us are just beside ourselves as to why we can't get rid of this. We can get the government open, we can get voter ID, we can get the SAVE Act. We all know that if the Democrats take over, they'll get rid of it in 90 minutes. Have you had a conversation with him about this?
I have not had a conversation with Senator Graham, but the president is very persuasive, and I think we need to give the president every tool in the toolbox to get his America First agenda done. And I agree. I think the Democrats have showed time and time again that there is nothing they won't do to get their to get their power increased, to make sure that their initiatives get handled. And all the common sense things that the president want, we need to get done. I believe that the American people are going to overwhelmingly come out. And John, maybe I'm being optimistic, but I think that's a good place to be. We have got to make sure we keep a hold of Congress, the House, and the Senate to help get President Trump's agenda completed. If not, if heaven forbid we lose any one of those chambers, it will be 2 years of impeachment. It will be 2 years of roadblocks. And once again, we'll see nothing get done for the American people.
So Pam, you're in favor of the Senate Republicans getting rid of the 60 vote cloture rule.
John, my view is more broad. I'm in favor of doing whatever we can to get President Trump's agenda done.
Well, you can't get his agenda done without getting rid of the 60 vote cloture rule, because they can't do anything in the Senate if they don't do it. So you can't get his agenda done. So I think you've answered my question, right?
Exactly.
This is why we get along. Okay. Now, you're not that far from Virginia. Probably heard of that state. It's a couple states up I-85. Of course, you can't get there through Clemson because you got all that construction. But if you do seem to make it out, and you go to Virginia, looks like they're going to pass a gerrymander to hell rule, going from 6-5 in the House of Representatives to what is likely to be 10-1. I mean, it blows your mind what they've done. These people have no gumption to get power. Is there any way that we can get another seat in South Carolina? Has that ship sailed, or do you guys have a shot at that the way they did in the Tar Heel state?
Well, let me tell you, John, if we could get a clean sweep, I would be in favor of it. I feel very proud of what South Carolina has done, sending firepower up to DC. Everybody we send is a Republican, except for one seat. We have a supermajority in the House and the Senate. All of our constitutional officers are Republican. We have done our job here. If we could give them a clean sweep, I would be all in favor of it. But what I wouldn't be in favor of is weakening any of our other seats, because never underestimate the determination of the Democrat Party to flood South Carolina. There would be no bigger feather in their cap than to try to turn over a seat here. So I'm all about doing the smart, common sense things and make sure that we continue to send bright red conservatives up to Washington to fight the battle alongside.
Can you guys hold that May seat in the Low Country? Can you guys hold that in the midterms?
I believe we can. There's a lot of great candidates that are in there. I've looked at some of the candidates that are coming out on the Democrat side, not super impressive to me. And so I do think that we will keep that seat and send a conservative backup to help President Trump.
Well, it's going to be tough. That is a very, very tough seat. It's always competitive. I know it changed a little bit to the Republicans' advantage, but that seat always seems to be in play. Final thing, we have to go. These Epstein files, Pam, are not going away. And we're losing young people by the hour over the fact that they see two Americas, one for the elites and one for everybody else. when your kids drive, they get a car. If they get a speeding ticket, 8 miles an hour over the speeding zone, they got to pay the ticket. If they don't, their car will be impounded. If they still don't pay it, they'll take their driver's license away. Yet you got people in the Epstein files that are protected. Should these get released, all the names unredacted, and put this behind us? Yes or no?
You know, I stand with President Trump. President Trump has looked out for the American people at every turn, John, every turn, and he has done it on every front. I believe I don't. You know, he knows the best pathway to this. Unfortunately, I think so many people jump in. They don't. They don't understand what's going on. They haven't seen anything. That is above my pay grade. I don't know what's there, but I believe justice should be swift and should be fair to everybody. And I believe that President Trump will deliver that for us like he has on every other issue.
Pam, thanks for being with us. People want to follow your campaign. Where do they go?
You go to PamelaEvette.com, see where I'm going, see what's important to me, look at my platform, jump on, sign up as a volunteer. And as always, John, you know how this works. It takes money to win. And I've heard you say it time and time again. And so if wanting a good, strong, business-minded conservative as the next governor of South Carolina is important to you, please jump on there and donate. I would be so appreciative.
I'll donate if you promise you're going to get that I-85 sliver through Clemson fixed so I can drive to Atlanta without sitting there for 2 hours. If you promise me that, I'll give you a donation.
I will do it just for you and everybody else who sits on that road. I'm on that road a lot too.
It's a nightmare, and it's been going on for years. Like every time I get there, I'm like, oh, here we go. And when is it going to be done? So hopefully you'll become governor and light a fire under your Department of Transportation. Get that road fixed. Thank you, Pam, for being with us. Always good to have you, Pam Everett, Lieutenant Governor. Running for governor, just got Governor McMaster's endorsement. Likely Trump endorsements next. Just a prediction. Pam, thanks for being with us.
Your lips to God's ears, John.
Yeah, it's coming. John Fredericks Media Network. We're going to be right back. Doug Mastriano next.